Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and of course, drop a comment down below. One, goes a massive way to helping out the channel, and two, and most importantly, I really love hearing back from you guys, whether you're just saying hello, whether you're dropping by to say what colour scheme you're going for on certain factions, whether you're looking forward to the new edition of Warhammer 40k, which is getting its unboxing in the near future, or any of that good stuff. I really do appreciate every comment. I try to reply to everybody as much as I can, and yeah, it's super cool, and yeah, it goes a massive way to helping out the channel as well. Now, this week we are on issue number 86 of Combat Patrol magazine, so there's only 4 more issues after this one, so yeah, we are really closing in on, for lack of a better term, the end times of this magazine. Is probably the best way I can describe it, and then we'll just be down to Spearhead magazine, which obviously we've not even reached issue 10 yet for that magazine, but we've got a load of really cool stuff to look forward to with that one. And but for now, obviously, this week is part 2 of our Khorne Berserkers for the World Eaters. So these are Chaos Space Marines, very Khorne orientated Chaos Space Marines to be precise, with their funky helmets and backpacks and everything like that. They all look pretty cool. And yeah, obviously combining it with last week's sprue, and obviously you've got the bases this week as well, you can kind of get these guys built up. So you have your build guide last week for these chappies. So obviously this week we're going to have our paint guide to kick us off with. Now, do I agree with this paint job? Yeah, actually kind of do. I would go slightly different though. Obviously they're going over a bad and black for the red, for Mr. Fist and Red. If you've got the space, the ventilation and the time, get yourself a can of spray, whether you're using one of the sprays from good old GW, whether you're using the Khorne Red spray or Mephiston Red spray from there, or the Colourforge alternative, or the Army Painter alternative, or any of the other alternatives. A rattle can's even faster to get these all guys all kind of base coated up and ready to start painting. That's how I'm going to do it. It's how I did my Eldari, although I've not painted them up any further than just spraying them. But that is exactly how I'm going to go about doing it. I do have one of the Khorne Red alternatives from Colourforge, and it's far easier, far better to just get them built up and spray them. It makes more sense. It's faster for you. It's easier. You just obviously need to make sure that 1, you've got good weather, 2, you've got space, and 3, you have a very well ventilated area. So personally, I go out in the back garden and I will spray it as long as the temperatures are between around about 17 degrees up to about 22-23 degrees is where I think my comfort level is with spraying. The hotter you get, the faster the paint dries. However, if you're spraying in very hot temperatures, the spray dries before it hits the model, so you don't want that. If you're going too cold though, it stays too liquidy and you're going to have a bit of a gloopy mess, so you don't want that either. So that's 17 to 23 degrees, ideally 20 degrees is probably your best bet for a bit of a rattle can spraying. But anyway, enough rabbiting on about that, which I have definitely already done that with this magazine at some point previously, probably several times in fact, with previous factions, whether it's Leagues of Votan and good old the Space Marines and so on. Yeah, I've definitely rambled on about that, and I will do it again and again because it's, you know, a really good tip. It's really handy to do that. Anywho, enough blathering on about spray paint. Painting it up, fairly straightforward really. You do have some skin areas to the Berserkers in between their kind of some of their armour. So some of their armour, they're not wearing full armour all the time, but some of them do have a little bit of their arm out of armour. So you are going to want to kind of make sure you're painting up skin tone for that. Same with if you're not going for any, if you're not using helmets, obviously use the same shade of paint for those guys. You're going to be using Retributor Armour, Corax White, Lead Belcher, Wraithbone, Rakkar Flesh, Caliban Green for the lenses of the helmet, and so on and so on and so on. And shades are your friends. Whether you're using rattle can or not, shades are your friend. If you are using rattle cans, personally, my tip for this is, one, these guys look pretty decent. If you want to make them a little bit brighter red, so they're a little bit more like that, relayer over where you've gone over with your shades. It does make it a little bit better. It brings the colour back. You just don't go into any recesses. And then obviously using a lighter shade for the edge highlight. So for instance, if you're using Mephiston Red, your Wild Rider Red works very nicely as an edge highlight. But if you want to make it pop a little bit further, a little bit of a pink or even a little tiny bit of yellow can bring it up a little bit further and give you a brighter edge highlight if you really wanted to. You don't have to, obviously. You can just follow the guide if you really want to and not take the ramblings of a person who does like to talk about spray paint. Anywho, carrying on from there, obviously your edge highlights are super important. You are going to be wanting to do a fair bit of them to make some really cool looking minis. If you're following the guide, you can have something like that. If you're going to be like me and you're going to want to do the extra step of relayering, they will look a little bit brighter in terms of colour. But yeah, either way, they're going to look pretty decent. So happy days. Moving on from there, we have a read section to do with the Arcs of Omen, Part 4, Assault on Malak Bale. Malak Bale? Yeah, I've probably said that very wrong, and someone will probably tell me off in the comments, and I appreciate it. Anywho, amid the devastation of the Indomitus Crusade and the incursions of the Arcs of Omen, an Imperial force came across an ancient artifact. Unknown to them, their investigation was to be their doom. In the black of the Imperium Nihilus, Indomitus fleet Quartus made its way through the perilous void. Their voyage was halted by the discovery of some ancient archaeotech by inquisitorial agents on the planet of Malak Bale. Unsure of its purpose, they investigated to try and discover its purpose. Why they had to put purpose twice in that sentence seems a little bit weird. You know, they could have just went unsure of its use. They investigated to try and discover its purpose, maybe. I don't know. Anywho, Inquisitors initially believed that the device, which they named the Choral Engine, was a potent psychic beacon. So important was the discovery that the fleet was diverted to retrieve it. The artifact was eventually switched on. The Inquisitors were vindicated and then astounded. Not only was it a powerful beacon that could be used in navigation, it also appeared to hold back warp storms and even banish demons. Meanwhile, the Stygian Heart, one of the Arcs of Omen, along with its Bale fleet, lay siege to the planet. Angron himself, aboard his flagship, led the fleet into battle against the Imperial forces. The skies above Malak Bale are lit bright with fires, explosions, and plasma blasts of war. So, giving you a little bit of a kind of the story of all to do with the Arcs of Omen and the fact that they do like to bring them in, and they do carry a lot of force, and obviously archaeotech, very valuable to the Imperium. However, it can lead them down a path where they get stuck into kind of predicaments that they probably don't really want to be in. So, in some ways I have sympathy for them, in some ways I don't. Anyway, carrying on with good old read sections, we have a bit more fiction, proper cunning tactics. And I'm not going to lie, every time I read orc type speech where it's like proper and cunning, I do read it in a slightly Cockney voice, even although I can't really do a Cockney voice. Anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, a bit of good old orc-ish fiction, which is really, really cool, and you get some nice little bit of orc art as well. I mean, that one's a slightly older bit of orc art as well. That's you can tell by how it kind of looks. It looks a fair bit dated, whereas these are obviously a lot newer, because they have the beast snaggers, which are really, really cool, and one of the orc factions I personally like. So yeah, really, really cool. Obviously goes on a little bit longer than some of the other very standalone fictions, but this is really, really good. So you've got a good bit of fiction to kind of keep you going amidst the joys of good old Warhammer 40k, which is always very, very nice. Moving on from there, we get our combat patrol page to how to utilize essentially our good old combat patrol for the good old world eaters, Karaghar's rampagers as they are known. So over the course of this magazine, obviously the last few issues that are coming up, we obviously have our Lord on Juggernaut. We've already got that chappy. We get the Khorne Berserkers, which we've got 10 of them. We're going to get another 10, which we'll talk about in a second. We have our 10 Jackals as well. So all very, very kind of nice and easy to do and all that type of stuff. So a very straightforward good old combat patrol for these chappies. And that's what they all look like in the end of it. Obviously, with all combat patrols, if you want to expand your combat patrol, there are many, many ways of doing it. And yeah, there are different solutions of how to build a bigger army around each combat patrol as well. So entirely up to you. Moving on from there, we have our new scenario 52, Berserkers. So we're going to be utilizing good old a unit of 10 Berserkers and Jackals going up against Orcs, and they're going to take 2 units of 10 Orc boys each, and yeah, smashy, have a good time. Both of those armies, in all honesty, like to smash stuff up and like to go head to head and literally beat the hell out of each other. Very kind of a little bit more melee focused, which is pretty cool. And they have some pretty cool melee weapons as well. So, yeah, very fighty. Really, really good stuff though, and pretty cool. And obviously, yeah, some happy days. If you're going to be playing through all these scenarios, obviously the way these scenarios work is it's basically to walk you through how to utilise each combat patrol and get you used to it. And if you will like it, then obviously pick yourself up a codex for a bigger army and start expanding your army. Obviously, there are many, many ways of doing it, entirely up to you. You can kind of build your army. If you subscribe to Warhammer TV, you can do it pretty much unlimited times through the Warhammer 40k app on your phone. If you're not a subscriber, you can build one army at a time, I think, on there. But you can kind of have a muck around with it and kind of build it up from there and see what works for you. And you can even export it and print it out if you wanted to as well. But your choice. Anyway, that is almost it. Obviously, next week and the week after, we get 10 more Khorne Berserkers. So exactly the same what we've had for the last 2 weeks. So yeah, nothing super major to write home about. We get more information about the Arcs of Omen and more combat patrol rules. That'll take us up to issue 88. Issues 89 and 90 will actually be our bonus World Eaters mini, which is the Forge Fiend, which is a big mini as well, which is pretty cool, and should be really, really good fun. And then that sees the end of Combat Patrol magazine, which, you know, it's going to be sad to see it go. It's gone on for a long time, but yeah, it'll be really cool to kind of move on and see what happens later on. But that is it for now. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye-bye now.